to the savage nation is Mamdani, the rider on the pale green horse. I looked up and saw a horse whose color was pale green. Its rider was named Death, and his companion was the grave. These two were given authority over 1/4 of the earth, to kill with the sword and famine and disease and wild animals. Revelation 6:8. Now, of course, to most people listening to me on Instagram, this is nonsense because you don't believe in the Bible. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in the hereafter. You believe only in yourself and how you look in a mirror. That's okay. That's your life, not mine. But I have my own life to live. And I've lived most of my life. And I decided that in this phase of my life, I'm going to interpret things for people. And not only in a political way, which I've done all of my life, 30 years, but in a spiritual or biblical way. So we just had an upset victory in New York that is shaking people to their core, not solely because this imposter is a communist and a Muslim, but because he's a terrorist at heart, and everyone knows that. Forget the children who voted for him. Forget those who are brain dead. Forget those who are mentally ill, who didn't even understand who the hell he was. Anyone who has studied the Red-Green Alliance and saw that old bastard, Bernie Sanders, jumping around on the stage like he was a young man again, chasing chicks in Vermont. Anyone who saw the red of Sanders and the green of Mamdani understood this is biblical in its context. You get it? Now, the only question remains, there really is only one question, which is this, and this is a very rough one. The establishment killed Charlie Kirk because he was a threat to their power. Whoever did it, I don't know which side, and I don't think it was a lone gunman theory. I mean, whatever you want to get to with the Charlie Kirk thing is irrelevant. The thing is, he was a leader of the youth, good-looking, smart, biblically oriented, and he definitely was going to take over the conservative side and lead it and be president one day. They killed him. Now we go to the other side. You got a communist Muslim, lying, spoiled brat who went to private school, who was born outside the country, whose parents hate America. And now he's the mayor of the largest city in America. And the first thing he says in his victory speech is that if you want to come get me, you have to come through all of us. So he's a madman in the sense that he's drunk on his own power already. He's a martinet of the campus, a hollow little boy screaming in his mama's puppet show of hate. And I say never fear him, scorn him, but understand him. Number one, know thy enemy. He is your enemy. He is the enemy of Western civilization. He is the enemy of all women. He is the enemy of all gays. He is the enemy of all people who believe in freedom of the spirit. But you don't know this yet because you haven't read it in the newspaper, or online rather. No one reads the newspaper anymore. I haven't seen a newspaper in years. I used to love newspapers. Grew up on newspapers. And here we go. Here we are. There was a great article over the weekend released by Breitbart, by my friend Josh Klein, with an exclusive interview with the son of the Hamas founder, the son of the founder of Hamas, who lives in a secret place, who is not readily available for interviews, who knows more about this than all of you put together. So shut the hell up, you scornful morons out there who know nothing. Most of you are losers who don't even know that you're going to be a loser no matter who runs the city, who runs the country. This is the thing about people on the bottom. They keep screaming about communism, socialism. They'll still wind up on the bottom of the heap. So listen to someone who knows what he's talking about. You know nothing, most of you. I don't mean people who follow me. They know everything. I'm talking about those of you who continue to go online with your typing and your scornful idiocies. The founder of Hamas has a son who gave an interview to my friend Josh Klein in Breitbart. He warns that Mamdani is a Trojan horse for the Red-Green Alliance, seeking to undermine America from within. It's a long article. You can read it on your own. Now, I wrote something different. There's two sides to look at it. One, he's a hollow man, a little boy who got somewhere he never thought he'd get. And that's because Curtis Sliwa couldn't have shut his big fat hog mouth and let the corrupt Democrat win. At least we wouldn't have a communist bum who's very dangerous, by the way, running New York City. If Sliwa had shut his goddamn mouth and disappeared from the scene and thrown his support behind the corrupt Democrat for the sake of New York and America, which of course Sliwa can't do, which is why he's a loser on the bottom of the heap. Sliwa lives in a rent-controlled basement apartment with 16 cats, and he was going to run New York City. You hear this? He was as competent as this one, this Mamdani. So he was the spoiler who threw it in the hands of the Muslim. And Mamdani, I think, is the Muslim Icarus. He's already gotten high on his own big lie. He thinks he is Castro, but he has no military. I believe the corrupt Democrat machine, which kills people, will kill him or destroy him before the next big election, either by his failure to deliver on his lies or through a scandal that they manufacture, or both. He is already showing the terrorist inside of his body that came from Imamabad. To get me, they have to come through us, he said. And who is the us who backs this red-green monster? The mobs of weak-minded progressives, the radical Islamists, the blubbery femmes, and the psycho-trans armies? He has no military. Castro had the army. Hitler had the brown shirts. This martinet of the campus is a hollow little boy screaming in his mama's puppet show of hate. And I say, do not fear him, scorn him, but understand him. Understand him well. But you don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to lift a finger, because the Democrat establishment will not let this man get much further than, let us say, he has already gotten. At some point, he's going to implode. I don't know how. Believe me, I'm just a man alone out in California, looking in from the outside, looking down as I have for many years, and I'm giving you my opinion. Just remember, the Democrats kill people who get in their way. For that matter, so do the Republicans. Let's leave it at that. Think about the Democrats. They went to war against Russia in Ukraine. They've killed over 1 million people, and they still won't stop the war, the establishment. So if they can kill 1 million people for power, what do you think they're going to do with this imposter? He's going to implode one way or the other. I don't know how. I hope it doesn't happen. I despise him. I despise his politics. I think he's a very dangerous man, but I don't wish him any evil. I don't wish him any well. I'm just giving you a prediction, as Nostradamus might have done. And Nostradamus, Savage, says he's not going to get too far. He's a threat to the establishment more than he is to you and I. Pay attention to what I just said to you. How it will come is anyone's guess. I looked up and saw a horse whose color was pale green. Pale green, the Red-Green Alliance. Its rider was named Death, Radical Islam. And his companion was the grave. Bernie Sanders is a living embodiment of the grave. These two were given authority over 1/4 of the earth to kill with the sword and famine and disease and wild animals. It's very frightening if you read the Christian version of Revelation 6:8 on the fourth seal, death. There was a movie done years ago called The Fourth Seal. Or actually, Behold the rider on the pale horse. But if you look at the cross references in the Bible, which I'll give you, for those of you who haven't been to church in your entire life, there are cross references in the Bibles. So let's go back to the cross reference of the fourth seal, death, to Ezekiel, the original Bible, the Jewish Bible, 14:21. For this is what the Lord God says, how much worse will it be when I send against Jerusalem my 4 dire judgments, sword, famine, wild beast, and plague, in order to cut off from it both man and beast. Ezekiel was pissed off. Zechariah 6:3-5 said the third white horse is in the fourth dappled horses, all of them strong. So I inquired of the angel who was speaking with me, what are these, my Lord? And the angel told me, these are the 4 spirits of heaven going forth from their station before the Lord of all the earth. Matthew 24:7-8 says, nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Leviticus 26:22 says, I will send wild animals against you to rob you of your children. You destroy your livestock and reduce your numbers until your roads lie desolate. Jeremiah 15:23. Jeremiah would have been a great talk show host in his day, but that was long before Edison. Jeremiah said, if they ask you, where shall we go? You are all to tell them that this is what the Lord says, those destined for death to death, those destined for the sword to the sword, those destined for famine to famine, and those destined for captivity to captivity, I will appoint over them 4 kinds of destroyers, declares the Lord: the sword to kill, the dogs to drag away, and the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. Deuteronomy 30-24 says, they will be wasted from hunger and ravaged by pestilence and bitter plague. I will send the fangs of wild beasts against them, with the venom of vipers that slither in the dust. Ezekiel 5:12, a third of your people will die by plague, or be consumed by famine within you. A third will fall by the sword outside your walls, and a third I will scatter to every wind, unleash a sword behind them. Have I scared you yet, or you think it's all a joke? You probably don't even hear a word I'm saying, because not a naked chick with good abs, or some homosexual pretending to be gay with good abs. So I'll continue, because I'm just an old man with a keen mind. I may look like an old man, but I have a tuxedo on my mind, a young tuxedo. I'm in a dapper outfit inside. Although they may fast, I will not listen to their cry. Although they may offer burnt offerings and grain offerings, I will not accept them. Instead, I will finish them off by sword and famine and plague. 2 Kings 17:25-26. Now when the settlers first lived there, they did not worship the Lord, so he sent lions among them, which killed some of them. So they spoke to the king of Assyria, saying, the peoples that you have removed and placed in the cities of Samaria, do not know the requirements of the God of the land. Because of this, he has sent lions amongst them, which are indeed killing them off. Hosea 13:14, I will ransom them from the power of Shoel. I will redeem them from death. Where, O death, are your plagues? Where, O Shoel, is your sting? Compassion is hidden from my eyes. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm an Old Testament kind of guy. My God is a vengeful God. He's not a loving God. He's not a kind God. He's not a peaceful God. He's not a happy God. He's a pissed off, angry, vengeful God. That's my God. That's what I was brought up with. A vengeful, angry God. Not a Mr. Rogers God. Isaiah 24:6. Therefore a curse has consumed the earth, and its inhabitants must bear the guilt. The earth's dwellers have been burned, and only a few survive. Very cheerful, isn't it, on a nice Monday morning here? Luke 21:11, and I'm almost finished. Are you having an anxiety attack? You have to call your shrink for a pill? There will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, along with fearful sights and great signs from heaven. And when you reach for your latte, it won't be there. Ezekiel 33:27. Tell them that this is what the Lord says. As surely as I live, those in the ruins will fall by the sword. Those in the open field I will give to the devoured by wild animals. And those in the strongholds and caves will die by plague. I'm almost finished. You can reach for your latte when I'm finished. You can call your shrink when I'm done. Jeremiah 16:4. They will die from deadly diseases. They will not be mourned or buried, but will lie like dung on the ground. They will be finished off by sword and famine, and their corpses will become food for the birds of the air and beasts of the earth. And now finally, boys and girls, and then you can have your latte with double cream. Isaiah 66:16. For by fire and by his sword the Lord will execute judgment on all flesh, and many will be slain by the Lord. So those, my friend, are the cross-references to the fourth seal, death, Revelation 6:8. And we are talking about what just happened in New York City, where an unknown radical Muslim extremist put there as a Trojan horse through the greed of the Republican Party, the absurdity of the candidacy on the Democrat side, has now foisted himself upon the people of New York. And the first thing he says is, he doesn't say, I'm going to do this peacefully, I'm going to compromise, we're going to all get along. No, he said, if you have to come to get me, you have to come through all of us, said Mamdani's little boy. Do you really think the power structure is going to let him do this? Do you actually think the power structure that is willing to kill 1 million people in Ukraine, Russia, are going to let this one man take over New York City in America? I don't. So he goes to a Upper West Side, Zoran Kwame Mamdani goes to an Upper West Side high school, born on the Upper West Side, to spoiled, rotten communist parents. I think he went to Dalton High School, which is $61,000 a year. I think he went to Bowdoin, which is a communist left-wing college named after a slave trader. Someone wrote a film script called, a fake film script on Facebook, Solomon De Niro. I don't know if he's real. College, Bowdoin, full ride named after a slave trader, rent $0. Mommy pays the $14,000 a month, Tribeca Loft. Security, a 2 off-duty NYPD, the same police he wants abolished outside his door 24/7. By the way, the police can't taste your food, Zoran. I suggest you get a food taster. By what I've seen in history, Zoran, may you never eat another bite without fearing what's in that food, Zoran, for what you're trying to do to this country. You're an evil man, and you're way over your head, sonny boy. And let me tell you something. You're hated by hundreds of millions of people. You may be loved by 100,000, 200,000, a couple of million here and there, but you are hated by more. So be careful what you eat, young man. Think about every bite you take, young man. It's been done before, young man. Carbon footprint took 47 private jets in 2024 while lecturing subway riders about climate. Wants to ban gas stoves, which he thought about over his Wolf Range kitchen. He quoted last week, no one should own a second home, filmed outside his Third Hamptons property. We're going ahead now in a film script. So in the film script, written by this Solomon De Niro, Kennedy closes the folder, looks dead into the camera, and delivers the kill shot. Son, I did my homework. I even highlighted the parts where you demand poor kids give up their safety while you hide behind daddy's armed guards. When you can live 1 month on an EBT card instead of a black card, then come talk to me about abolition. Till then, take your silver spoon sermons, roll them tight and shove them where the trust fund don't reach. Studio went graveyard. Hannity's jaw hit the deck. He thinks of Hannity what I think of him, an empty suit. Control room accidentally left the mic hot for 7 extra seconds of pure silence. Clip hit 134 million views in 2 hours. Hashtag trust fund Zoran nuke TikTok, X, and Instagram simultaneously. Mamdani's team called it stochastic terrorism. Kennedy's reply posted with a photo of a Louisiana food stamp line. Terrorism is making kids dodge bullets while you sip rosé behind 2 cops you want fired. The gold folder now hangs in the Senate gym, laminated, next to the pull-up bar nobody can reach. Fox just greenlit Kennedy's receipts as a weekly segment. Episode 1 drops tomorrow. The guy's genius, Solomon De Niro. That's the last part of my revelation today. Thanks for listening. I'm Michael Savage. Don't have a nice day. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve a nice day. What you deserve is a bad day every day for putting this red-green alliancer into New York City, which he will destroy unless he is stopped by the establishment, which I predict, and I wish him well, they will stop him before he gets out of the starting gate. And I don't hate. I just grate.